Few characters in Elden Ring are as tragic as Morgott. When people first hear about the demigods, they're usually introduced as powerful figures fighting for control of the lands between. Some are conquerors, some are schemers, and others have ambitions that threaten the entire world. Morgott seems no different at first. He is the king who stands in your way, the ruler of Leyndell, and one of the final obstacles between you and the Erdtree. But the more you learn about him, the more you realize that Morgott's story is one of loyalty, rejection, and heartbreak. Morgott was born as one of the twin sons of Queen Marika and Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. His brother was Mog, who would later become known as the Lord of Blood. From the moment they were born, both brothers carried a curse. They were omens. In the lands between, omens were feared and despised. Their body grew large twisted horns, and many people believed they were impure beings. Ordinary omen children were often killed shortly after birth. Morgott and Mog survived only because they were members of the royal family. But survival didn't mean acceptance. Instead of being raised as princes, the twins were imprisoned beneath Leyndell in the depths known as the subterranean shunning grounds. Hidden from the world and treated as something shameful, they spent their early lives locked away beneath the capital their family ruled. Most people would have grown bitter. Most people would have hated the kingdom that rejected them. Morg certainly did. But Morgott was different. Despite everything that had happened to him, he never stopped loving the Golden Order. He never stopped loving Leyndell, and perhaps that's the saddest part of his entire story. The very society that rejected him was the one he chose to protect. As time passed, the lands between fell into chaos. Queen Marika shattered the Elden Ring, and the demigods began fighting for the great runes left behind. This conflict became known as Shattering. While many demigods sought power for themselves, Morgott remained focused on defending the capital. He viewed the ambitions of other demigods as selfish and destructive. To him, they were abandoning their responsibilities while the kingdom fell apart around them. Eventually, Morgott emerged from the shadows and took on a new identity, Margit, the Fell Omen. This was the name most Tarnished encountered first. Rather than revealing himself as a royal demigod, Morgott disguised his identity and personally hunted those he considered threats to the Erdtree. When players fight Margit near Stormwell Castle, they are actually facing Morgott, testing whether the Tarnished is worthy of progressing further. It's a clever detail that many players don't realize during their first playthrough. Even after centuries of rejection, Morgott had become one of the strongest defenders in the Golden Order. When we finally reach Leyndell, his true identity is revealed, Morgott, the Omen King. And the title itself is important. For most of his life, the word omen had been used to shame him. Instead of hiding from it, Morgott embraced it. He became king despite the prejudice that had followed him since birth, yet, even then, he never ruled with pride. He ruled with duty. One of the most revealing moments in Morgott's story occurs when he speaks about the other demigods. He refers to them as traitors and willful usurpers. While they chased power, Morgott remained behind to defend what was left of the kingdom. In many ways, he became the last true guardian of Leyndell. His battle against the players isn't driven by hatred, it's driven by responsibility. He genuinely believes that the artery must be protected. He genuinely believes that allowing other ambitious tarnished to enter could bring further destruction. So he fights, not for glory, not for revenge, but because he sees it as his duty. After his defeat, something remarkable happens. The curse that defined much of his life begins to fade, and his massive omen form shrinks into that of frail old man. For the first time, we see the exhausted figure beneath the armor. A man who has spent his entire life carrying the burden of protecting a kingdom that never truly accepted him. Even then, Morgott's loyalty never breaks. His final thoughts remain within the Erdtree. His final concern is the fate of the lands between. That's what makes Morgott one of the Elden Ring's most tragic characters. He was born unwanted. Imprisoned for a curse he never chose, rejected by the people he defended, and yet he remained loyal until his very last breath. While other demigods fought over power, Morgott spent his life protecting a world that gave him almost nothing in return. And because of that, he may have been one of the most noblest characters in all of the Elden Ring.